So what I'd like to do now is invite Dr. Morten Middelfart as well as Chris Smeege to the stage. We're going to do a brief introduction on Lumina Analytics. I know this is a newer company that some of the folks out there are still learning about, but we wanted to take the next 7 to 10 minutes to talk a little bit about some of the work that they're doing in the area before we kick off with our last panel. So if everyone can hang tight with us, we're coming right along. All right. So, Morten is one of the co-founders of Lumina Analytics, and he serves as the company's chief data scientist. Morten holds twin doctorates in big data mining as well as AI/machine learning in managerial science. An interesting fact about Morten as well is he's a veteran of the Danish Army, in which he was an infantry officer specializing in urban warfare and special intelligence. Chris, to my right here, he's the senior vice president of operations at Lumina Analytics. Chris is a data-driven and agile operations leader who excels in motivating high-performance and interdisciplinary teams to solve big, messy data problems. So thank you both for joining us. So I just wanted to hit a couple questions and focus on some of the work that Lumina is doing. Lumina is based down in Florida and do quite a bit of work with quite a few national security agencies. I've had the opportunity to learn a little bit about Lumina. They did a video interview for us, which you should look for our website here soon. But I wanted to start by asking you both is, how has your team worked with national security agencies to identify new threats?
Well, first, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. At the core, Lumina specializes in building AI-driven systems to synthesize open source intelligence or open source data for a variety of use cases. Within the national security space, we have assisted a variety of agencies at the federal level, law enforcement, intelligence agencies in various missions for protecting the homeland in threat identification or lead generation, specializing or leveraging a variety of systems to identify potential threats and actors who are shifting in their behavior from a degree of radicalization to mobilization, and very much focused on behavioral mining and pulling in a variety of different data feeds from social media to beyond that to then map out behavior that's associated with potential actors, both domestically and abroad. And so domestically, that's been lead generation for local and federal law enforcement, and then globally for inbound threats, looking at various actors who are seeking to enter the country through various immigration processes and helping to assist and augment the data that's available to make those decisions. And so the AI component of that is assisting in prioritizing that, recognizing the vast flows of data that we face today, being able to funnel that down from millions of data points, if not billions, and millions of potential threats, and then feeding that down to an analyst to a short list of 10 to 15 on any given day to augment the decision-making process.
Okay, great. Morten, could you share some of the thoughts that you've seen from your perspective as well?
Yeah, sure. I think the technical perspective on our system is really that we seek to find the needles in the haystack, which is a little bit different from the balance that you traditionally find when you train an AI. So we have to look to unsupervised learning to uncover problems that are typically like the black swan type of nature, the very costly problems that, if surfacing, cost human life or tremendous government or corporate value. So it's a little bit of a different problem because we don't have 10,000s of attack and 10,000s of similar non-attacks to train a system on. So we need to be a little bit more I want to say specific in the threat patterns. We want to theorize a little bit more, and then we want to massively test hypotheses to uncover the threats we seek.
We're following up with, earlier, I should say, we had the automation and artificial intelligence panel. And it seems like it's quite a theme throughout the day today. What are some of the impact? What are some of the thoughts that you guys have seen in terms of the direction and use of AI and machine learning from a national security standpoint?
Yeah, I think that the most important things is that we have been able to uncover threats that you never heard about. In other words, stuff that was reported to proper authorities and then dealt with. And also we know that these are not threats that was otherwise uncovered, at least not in any way detected in the same way. So. So from an algorithmic standpoint, we know that we're onto something, and we think that in the future we're gonna see more and more of that. The intent with AI, in our opinion, is that we wanna try to uncover threats as detailed as possible, but we wanna also have the human being be at the end of that string of data processing to make the last call, because there's another thing when we talk AI and human being that is different. The human being is very good at making a judgment based on very few data points, whereas AI is typically extremely good if it gets tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of data points. And the internet, if we're mining unstructured information, is a lot of data points. But at the end of the day, once we uncover the threat, we want a human being to make that assessment. And also, given the nature of the problems we seek, we want to rig the systems a little bit more to the false positive side, to where a human can then process that. And so that's definitely a direction that we see. That's also a slightly different angle on the traditional automation scheme.
Excellent. What are some of the most effective methods to harness external data to identify threats?
One of the key elements that we're looking at is the integration factor of integrating a variety of different sources together, but then it's the key of being able to then identify seemingly or like entities within that. So entity resolution, a great deal of text analysis, text mining in that, and then being able to present an analyst with a high resolution data feed that provides not just topical analysis, keyword analysis, or tags of data, but then starting to be able to uncover the relationships that tie two different documents together, that overlay that with a geographical positioning of where that content's emanating from, and then looking at the velocity of any topic that's coming from any specific actor, and being able to link these different overlays of data, so different layers associated with the same individuals, different entities, different places, and then linking those relationships together. And so from an unstructured or open source data perspective, it's truly about looking at the intelligence problem of integrating a number of different data sources together, validating those sources, identifying like entities, and then being able to integrate the various findings and implications that can be deducted from or being deduced from the integration of all those different sources. And so our systems work to then start at the top of that funnel and then pull that down so you have the literal data, but then you also have the derivative information that's associated with that, which then empowers an analyst to make a more informed decision on the back end of it.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much to you both. I think we're going to move on now to the infrastructure panel. But if you want to learn more about Lumina Analytics, we did a video interview with both Morten and Chris. Chris especially talked a lot about the very interesting program that they're doing with opioids and fighting that crisis crossing the country right now. And Morten does a deeper dive in terms of some of the work that they're doing for national security. So look for that to be posted on our website here as early as next week. So thank you to you both, and I want to invite our next moderator, who will be Amanda Ziada, our reporter, who will start with our infrastructure panel. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.